Hello, hello, and welcome. Hello, hello. Ooh, mute. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. I actually have the date here now in front of me. So today is Thursday, April 16th. And you are joining a Jana Marie Foundation wellness break. We're going to do a little paint along. These are our materials. This is what we're going to be doing today. This is a really fun one. We're going to be practicing something called a wash technique, or just using a wash. So this is great for acrylics or watercolors. You can follow along with crayons or colored pencils, markers, and then a nice Sharpie for that black will be really cool and fun. So if you're following along with me, I've got my canvas ready. I have white, black, red, yellow, and blue paint. I'm using acrylics. This is my paper plate that is slowly becoming more acrylic than paper. We're definitely going to need some clean water for this one, for our wash. And some paint brushes, some paper towel. I'll have to grab my paper towel, but I'll be back in a second. I need to go get myself some paper towels. So if you need to get yourself set up, get all your materials, grab a snack, and we'll get ready to paint in just a couple minutes. Hey, Nikki and Anya. As we're sitting here waiting, I'm watching my cat stare at this red squirrel. And both the cat and the squirrel are twitching their tails. It's really cute. So I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday afternoon, taking the time for a nice wellness break at the Jana Marie Foundation Facebook page. It's an honor to be able to do these with them every week. Only Anya. Well, hi, Anya. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well these days. I think this is our fifth week of, at least for me, it's my fifth week of remote instruction. I work at Penn State. I think it's our fifth week. I don't know. Somebody can tell me. But I think this is our fifth week of painting anyway, of doing Facebook Live videos. So I've been here every Thursday with Jana Marie Foundation. On Tuesdays, you can find me on my Paint with Jackie. I'm wondering if there's anybody here watching. This is your first time watching on the Jana Marie Foundation page. Well, welcome back if you've been here before. I'm glad you're painting with me. I don't know about you, but I'm in State College, and hi, Joy! I'm so glad you're here. I'm in State College, Pennsylvania, and we had snow today. So I don't know if anybody else saw that snow. So it's been pretty chilly here today, and I think it's going to get colder tonight from what I hear. But that doesn't matter because we are here, and we are... Yay, Lisa. She's been here before, right? I think. Oh, well, welcome, Donna. Thanks for being here. Oh, I love your little lamb and daffodil picture. I love daffodils. So, oh, that's really sweet. Thanks for being here, Donna. So yeah, we're going to go through step by step here with this little painting. I mentioned earlier that this is great to do with acrylics, or even watercolors will work, but markers, crayons, whatever you got in the house, we can make it work today. Okay? So yeah, if it's your first time here, this is the Jana Marie Foundation page. They do great work in the State College, Pennsylvania, the Center County area, in terms of reaching out to young folks and promoting well-being and raising mental health awareness. So it's an honor to help them out and do these little wellness breaks. If you can, as a little thank you to them, you can check out their actual webpage, janmariefoundation.org, and there's a way for you to donate. If you're able right now. Things are a little bit difficult for everyone, but send them a couple of dollars as a thank you to them for doing these wellness breaks. And they've been doing a ton of programming, yoga and mindfulness breaks, and just a lot of great stuff going on the Jana Marie Foundation page. So we thank you very much for being here, artists, and we thank the Jana Marie Foundation for all the amazing work that they do. So let's get going. Let's get started here. So I've got my... Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Roberta. We've got I got my canvas here, and what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a base to start adding a wash. And a wash is just a really, really watered down color, okay? And our base is just going to be yellow. You might be able to tell, or maybe not, that underneath all of this butterfly and the flowers and everything is just a coat of yellow. So that's what I'm going to do first. Really simple. We're going to start out nice and easy. It's kind of a nice little therapy to just cover a canvas with some paint, right? Because we can't make mistakes now. We have plenty of opportunity to make mistakes later. I'm just kidding, but not really. No. This is fun. This is the fun, easy part. We're just covering our canvas in yellow paint here. And because we want this to dry, I don't have to go crazy here, right? I'm just covering the canvas with color, and I'm going to move that paint around as much as possible because I don't need any big glops. I don't need a thick layer. I don't need any big old glops of paint. I'm just covering this bad boy with some yellow. And I'm going to want that to dry. So we're just spreading this around. And you'll definitely be able to tell if I haven't washed my brushes thoroughly. Some gray might be popping out, but that's okay. By the way, there are no mistakes, right? Only happy accidents, just like Bob Ross said. The kind, wise Bob Ross who has taught me everything I know. So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. First of all, thanks for being here, painting together on a Thursday afternoon. If you're just joining us, we are giving our canvas a nice coat of yellow paint, just enough to cover our canvas in that color. We're not going crazy with big old glops. We're not blending anything, so we don't need to keep it wet. So if you've painted with me before, when we're ready to blend colors together, I want to keep it thick and wet so we can blend our next paint in, but we're not doing that today. We're going to do something else. We're going to be using a wash technique. So we want this base to be dry. Hi, Cheryl. I have posted this already in my Paint with Jackie Facebook page, but if you or anyone you know wants to paint along but can't do it at this time, or you know someone who's not on Facebook, I've started to upload these videos on a YouTube playlist, a public YouTube playlist, so I can share that link in the comments at the end. And what I've been doing is I've been becoming very tech savvy these days, and I learned that it's just super easy to take a Facebook video link and download it, and then I can just pop it on a YouTube playlist. Hi, Michelle, welcome. So I will share that YouTube playlist link at the end in the comments. And so that link is, public. You don't need Facebook to access it, and you can just kind of check out all the paintings we've been doing over these weeks at home. All right. So yeah, I should pat myself on the back. I did a really good job of keeping that pretty thin. So it's drying fairly quickly here. I can kind of just give it a little fluff to get all that wet paint moved around. So yeah, I'm just gonna, that's almost dry. It's not bone dry. I can kind of pick it up and give it a little shaky shake. If you find that you've got a lot of paint on there and it's really wet, I recommend trying to really move that paint around. Taking some of that paint off with your brush, and once you've done that, you can put it under the hairdryer. That works really well. You can wave it around. Well, that kind of makes a cool sound, like a helicopter or something. So yeah, and if you're using watercolor, you should wait till that's pretty dry too. But if you're using watercolor, we don't have to worry too much about it being super dry. So I'm just going to take one more minute, just in case anyone needs to catch up. I keep testing it carefully with my hand. It's not quite at the scratch test. The scratch test is when it's bone dry and you can wipe your hands on it and it makes a scratchy noise. So we're almost there. I'll hang out a bit, let everybody catch up. And actually I can explain what we're going to do next. So for this wash, what we're going to do next is we're going to start building up these greens in the back, okay? And what's great with starting out on the yellow is that I can add greens and blues on top of that yellow, and they're going to look green. And I can add reds on top of here, and they're going to look orange. So starting out with that yellow base is really helpful for us. So, and by the way, I have that yellow paint on my brush still. I don't need to wash that off because we're gonna be mixing some green, and I need yellow to make green. You might have straight green paint already, so you can use that. That's fine. I don't have my green paint out today. I just have my yellow. And kiddos out there, what do I need to add to yellow to make green? Just shout it out. 1, 2, 3. That's right. We need to add this blue. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing next. I'm going to kind of wave my canvas here to get some fan action going, get this dry. Ooh, we're almost at the scratch test. Yes, Anya, blue, good job. We're almost at the scratch test. It's feeling pretty good. All right, so what I'm going to do, and here's where we get a wash. And again, a wash is just a really watery color. Like a watery color. It's a watercolor, basically. Okay, so I've got my brush. It already has some yellow in it, and that's cool. I'm gonna dip my brush in the water, get it nice and full of that H2O, and then in my plate, I'm gonna start kind of pressing those bristles in there. Okay, and I had some blue in there to begin with earlier, so I'm already kind of going green. But I'm going to tap into my blue paint, and I might even add some more water. Okay. And this is my wash. It's a really watered down acrylic. It's a watercolor, basically, right? Okay. And when you first play with this on your yellow canvas, you're going to learn if you've got too much water or not enough. And honestly, it's totally up to you. The general rule is you can start light and always add color. It becomes harder to take the color away. That's kind of a general rule. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to outline my butterfly. So if we look at the original again, we see that my butterfly we're really close up. We're so close up that I kind of clipped off her wing at the top here, so we can imagine that her wing extends up there. Okay, so I'm going to first outline this upper wing, okay? And I'm not going to complete it. I'm not going to go all the way in, right? I'm just going to keep this outside line here and this outside line here. Okay, if you happen to accidentally go all the way in, that's fine. But I'm just going to keep it the outside edges here. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I have my green wash, and let's see, her wing for me goes there. I'm going to imagine it coming out the top and then curving back around this way. Something like that. And then I've got her top wing. Now I can add her bottom wing. And for me, her bottom wing is more roundish. So the top wing is kind of more like a fin or a sail on a boat. Okay? And then her bottom wing is more rounded. Okay? So that's how I'm going to do my butterfly. So I got that top wing, and now I'm going to give her the bottom. Something like that. And that's my guide for my butterfly. And what I'm going to do next, you can see I've got a lot of wet here for my wash, and that's fine. I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to start pulling it out and away from our butterfly. And you might notice that the wash is kind of removing some of your yellow, and that's totally fine. No worries. So with my green wash, I'm going to start putting in this background, okay? And I'm using vertical strokes, so up and down. I'm going to be using up and down strokes because we're upside down. Because our background is grass and plants and things. So I want to keep my brush strokes nice and vertical and up and down. And I'm going to give my first layer of this wash. So I went back into my plate here. I'm loading up my brush with, I don't have a lot of wash left in there, but I'm loading my brush up, and, oh, my cat just walked behind me. Hi, Willie. All right, so I'm just going to use these up and down strokes to fill in the background, and I'm leaving her wings alone, right? I want to keep her wings yellow. I need more wash, so I'm just going to dip my brush into my water here and press down on my plate. I'm going to tap into some yellow, tap into some blue, and get some more color going. What's great about these washes is you don't need a lot of paint, right? If you're kind of getting low on paint lately, you can totally make the paint last longer by turning it into a watercolor. All right. And again, don't worry if your wash is kind of cleaning off your canvas. That's totally fine. In fact, it's kind of neat to see like the little different textures and colors that kind of come out of this. Okay, so that's basically my first layer of wash, right? So now I want to go in and make a darker wash. Okay, so for me that means I'm going to add more blue this time. So just more blue to yellow in our ratio. Okay. And then with this wash, I can add different lines and textures. And really, as long as we're keeping these vertical strokes, we really can't go wrong, right? Because we're just going to be creating these fun little textures and shadows and highlights, right? Isn't that cool? All right. I don't know. I've got a feeling that you guys are doing awesome right now. Oh, yes, you are. You are. I miss seeing you guys so much. With my nights at the arena and State College for Cheers to Art, all of my private events that got canceled. I miss seeing artists face to face and seeing their work. It really is very joyful to watch people create art. Just looking at myself do art, it's just not the same. I really enjoy watching people make art. So I can imagine it in my brain, in my imagination. And then I love when you guys share your paintings with me at the end. It's so cool to see all of your paintings, to see all the different kinds of things that people came up with. Everything always looks a little different. It's so cool. I love it. So yeah, make sure you share your paintings at the end in the comment section. Some people text them to me or message them to me, but we love looking at those paintings. They bring us such joy these days. Okay, so you can see how just kind of playing around with these little brush strokes, we start creating like little grasses and things. Really cool. I'm going to actually make another wash. It's going to be even darker. And here's where we got to be a little careful. So I'm back into my wash here, but I'm going to add a little teeny bit of black, the smidgiest of smooches, the smeechiest of smidges into my green wash. And really, I highly recommend giving it a test on your tablecloth, because a little black goes a long way, and we don't want to create black grass. That would be kind of weird. All right, so now I've got this darker wash happening, and I'm going to just add those to the bottom here. And well, anywhere really. And that I was really careful there. It wasn't terribly dark at all, so I might add more paint to water ratio here. So yeah, if you're finding that your washes just aren't standing out, you might need to up the paint ratio. In other words, just add more paint than water, or just play with, how much paint and water you have. There we go, and I can get a bit more of that showing up. So now I'm gonna now start playing with more acrylic than watercolor. So just more paint. I'm going to grab a touch of that black again. So now this is pretty much a traditional acrylic. Not a lot of water in there at all. In fact, hardly any. And I can start... Oh! I was waiting for that to happen. I just knocked over my cup of water. It's fine. I caught it, but I still got a little sprinkly here. But we are good. All right. Ooh, yeah. So then when you get more of that... Oh, my cat's like, what did you do? Hi! You want to say hi to everyone? Let's see if we can get you on camera. Oh, hi. You want to be in my lap now, huh? This is Willie. Oh! She did not like that. Okay. So... We are doing okay. I'm a little wet on my jeans, but we will get through this. All right, I'm gonna make some more of that just straight acrylic. Add a little smidgy smooch of black. And I'm gonna start really getting in some of these different kinds of textures and leaves and stems and what have you. Cool. All right. How we doing, folks? I hope you enjoyed this technique, and you can play with this on your own by starting with, so we started with yellow, but you can start a base with Cheryl says hi, Willie. You can start a base with pretty much any color, but yellow works really well because it's bright and light. But you could practice starting with like a light blue background, letting that dry and seeing what kind of washes work on top of a light blue. So it's kind of a fun thing to play around with, especially when you're getting low on paint. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move away from our grass right now, and I'm going to start playing with our butterfly. So I do want to wipe off my brush. I want to get as much paint off as I can. Now I swear I brought paper towel here. Here we go. So I want to wipe off as much of that paint as possible before I give it a good clean rinse. Okay, so just wiped off my brush. I'm going to give it a nice bath. All right, so now I'm going to work on the wash for our butterfly. And our butterfly, as you might have guessed, has a wash that's made of red, right? So the red going on top of yellow will kind of give us a burnt kind of orangey effect, okay? So that's what we're going to do now. So I just cleaned my brush, right? I'm going to dip it in, make sure I got some water on those bristles. And I'm going to take my wet brush and just touch it into some red. Little goes a long way. Let's see what we got here. Test it on my, yeah. All right, so let's get that wash going. And for me, I try to concentrate the color towards the body and get lighter as I go out. I don't know if you can tell that's what I tried to do, but you can do that, or you can kind of cover it equally all around like this, right? Give it a nice wet wash all over, or you can kind of, keep it towards the center and work your way out like this. Again, don't worry if your wash is starting to clean off some of that yellow paint, because we can always go over it. Okay, so I'm going to go in, grab some more of my red wash, maybe even tap into some yellow. And then we get cool wash effect over there. I'm going to grab some more red. So then if we get, so then we get that red in there and kind of pull it out. We can kind of blend outwards. That's fun. And I'm using a very gentle touch. So now that was straight red, right? Not a lot of water. Now I can grab some water here to kind of bring this, make it more of a wash. Get that blend happening. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. More vibrant, more red than I had in the original, but that's cool. It's always fun to kind of see what different things come out as we paint. Never know what a painting will look like until we're done, really, right? Bring some of that down here. So if you've gone in your butterfly and you think, oh no, I've got too much red, then maybe go back and grab some yellow and just kind of go over that. See if you can get a blend going. Pretty much anything you do here is going to look really cool, I promise. And even if you're not happy with your butterfly right now, when we put the black outlines over it, oh, it's going to look so cool. So just sit tight. Cool. All right. It's very wet, so it's super shiny. There we go. All right. Now, actually that I have this kind of orange in my brush, I want to take advantage of that, because if I make a green with this paint in my brush, it's gonna tone down that green, and that's what I want to do for my stems on my flowers. So I'm just gonna start mixing a green here. I'm actually gonna add a little smidgy smooch of red just to tone down that green. Yeah, something like that. And now our grass and our green area should be a little bit more dry. And I'm just going to add the stems of my 2 flowers. So I have 3 flowers that we can see the petals of, right? 1, 2, and 3. But I can only see the stems of these 2. Okay. So I'm just going to add the big stem right here. And the little guy right here. And I'm going to probably need to add more paint there. So I'm going to go in, just put my hand in my yellow paint there. I'm just going to go back and mix some of that green. So blue and yellow, and then I'm going to smidgy smooch some red to tone that down. And also darken it up a bit. All right, so let's add these stems here. There's one right here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like it. And then one right here. Awesome. All right. So now that I've got my stems, let's put some blossoms on these flowers. So you can practice maybe on a tablecloth or a scrap piece of paper how your petals are going to look. Let me wash my brush so I can show you what I'm about to explain. So I'm just going to wipe off my excess green paint here. And give my brush a nice good clean rinse. All right. Dry off that water here. So for these flowers, these are not a wash. These are straight red paint. Okay. So these flowers are vibrant and lots of color, and that is just straight red acrylic paint. Now, for me, I used my trusty old flat angled brush, and that brush is really great because I can just use the tips of those bristles and pull, and I get these petal shapes. So whatever brush you have, maybe give it a test on scrap paper, a paper plate, or something like that, so you can kind of see what are my bristles going to do when I pull it across the canvas. Okay, if you have a small brush, like let's say this, something like this, maybe you can just drag it flat across the canvas and see what kind of petals you get. Or if you have an even smaller brush, you can kind of draw each individual petal and fill it in. So that's up to you. But I do love me a nice old flat angled brush because it can do lots of different things for me. So I'm going to show you that right now. So right here, I'm just going to go in, get a lot of paint on that brush. Okay, and then what I can do with my angled brush is I can just press it and pull it. Press it and pull it. And I get those kind of ready-made petals. And I kind of want a nice full flower, so I'm going to go in at different levels and get different rows of petals here. Again, if you're at home and thinking, oh my gosh, that she makes it look so easy, really it's just the brush making it look like I know what I'm doing, because this brush just works really well for those petals. Just pressing on them, right? Just pressing and pulling. So then when I have like this front row, I'm going to kind of go in the background here and imagine those petals that are just going off into the background, into the distance. They're farther away from us. Something like that. Right? We got this. You can add a little more here and there and everywhere. Right? So now I can go up and add this one. This one's kind of up at the top. It's getting cut off. We don't see all of it, but we can see kind of the base of it. Whoops. Here's my first row. And then I can add another little row here. Again, having the right brush is going to make your life easier. All right, I'm not going to forget this little guy. This guy is kind of off in the bottom left corner. We don't see his stem, but he's popping in there with his blossoms. I'm just going to turn this. There we go. Something like that. All right. How we doing? I got a feeling we are doing awesome out there. And those flowers are just popping off of that canvas or that paper, whatever you guys are working with. I'm going to wipe off any excess paint. For me, I'm moving on to the outline of our butterfly here. So I'm using black paint. So I don't need to wash my brush because black paint is gonna gonna overpower any color that I have on there. I'm gonna continue to use my big brush here, but you're gonna use any brush that you feel good about making fine lines with. I like using my big brush and moving it back and forth in my plate and getting an edge there. So first I'm going to outline the front here, okay? Even if our wash is still a little wet, our paint is still a little wet, that should be fine at this point because we're just covering in black. So I'm just going to go over that front in a smooth, I almost knocked over my cup again, but I caught it, in a nice smooth stroke right down the front. All right, and let's do the other side. And this time we can go all the way around into the body, or where the body will be. Here we go. And then we can do her bottom wing. There we go. All right. So now what we're going to do, and this is really, really kind of like my special trick as to how to make butterflies really look like butterflies, is for the outer edges of her wings, we're going to draw like waves. Do you see these little waves? Yeah. So we're going to kind of draw like we were drawing like an ocean or water. You know how you do like little waves and peaks like this? We're going to do that all around her wings, except for this edge here, okay? And then we're going to fill that in with black. So let me show you what I mean. So what you can do is you can take a little brush if you want, and I'm just going to draw little waves like that. Okay, and then I can just fill that in with black. And this is a real kind of simple trick to make your butterflies really look like a monarch. So again, all I did was just kind of draw those pointy waves, okay, and then fill in black. And I have, let's see, how many points do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 on the top wing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the bottom wing. So you can have as many as you want. You don't have to go too crazy. They don't have to be, you don't have to have 100 of them. And now that we have those points there, those points tell us where we're going to draw these veins in the butterfly wing. Okay, so from every point, I'm going to pull out a vein, a black line. So you can follow along right with me. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that there's a point right up here, and I'm going to pull that one up along the front of the wing and down. Okay, but for the next point, I'm going to pull it into that line that I just made. Okay, so for my second point, again, I'm not pulling all the way down, but I'm going to pull into the first line that I just did. like that. And then for the next point, again, I'm going to pull into that line a little bit further. But then maybe for the next one, I'm going to pull all the way down to the bottom. And then the next one, I'm going to pull into the line. And the next one, I'm going to pull into the line. And then anywhere you have maybe a thicker portion that you want more lines, then go for it. Isn't that fun? So that's my trick for monarch butterfly wings. You do the waves, right? You fill it in black, and then from each point, you start pulling out the black lines. All right, let's do the same thing on the bottom wing. So I'm going to go from this point here and pull in towards the body. The next point, I'm going to go into that line. And the next one, maybe I'll pull it into the body. Like that. But for my next one, I'll pull into the line. And the next one, I'll pull into the line. And you just kind of play with where you want all those lines to be. And then you can add extras where you want. Fun, right? That's my easy step-by-step monarch butterfly. You got those wings outlined, then you do those waves, and from each point you get to pull in a vein there. Cool. All right, let's give this butterfly a body. How about that? So, kiddos out there, what are the 3 parts to an insect? First we have the head, and then what do we have? The thorax, right? And then the abdomen. So head, thorax, abdomen. So I'm going to start with the thorax, and that's like right on our wings here. I can give her a little head. And then her abdomen. So in my original, she was more sitting on the flower, and right now I guess she's just about to take off or land, and that's totally fine. I can also give her antenna, maybe some legs. I think she has 6 of them, right? Maybe you can't see them all though. Awesome. All right, we just have 2 more details here, and then we can be done with this one. Okay? So if you want, I'm going to show you how to add these little white details on her wing. And all I do there is I've got my big brush with a round end, and I'm just going to tap into my white paint, and I just kind of smudge on little splotches. And I'm doing them in those waves. Remember the waves we did with those points? Where that's where these little dots are going to live. There's one for each wave. And just kind of smudge that around. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect circles here. There we go. Just a little smudgy, stampy stamp. Something like that. Fun, right? All right. right, guys, we are almost done with it. This was a fun one, but we're almost done. We're not quite finished. I'm going to show you how to add the yellow, I think it's called stamens, where the pollen would be in a flower. So those fun little guys right there. Okay. So by now our red flowers should be pretty much not completely dry, but dry enough that we can start working on the top of them. And I'm just going to start throwing brushes and things all over the place. Okay, where is that brush that I wanted? Are you over here? Here you are. Oh, my cat has just taken up. She's right behind me. Super cute. Okay. So, for this one, I used a smaller, flat, but angled brush. That's going to be the easiest thing to use at this point, or at least to show you how I did it. So with the very tip of that brush, I dip into I dip into yellow, and I can start stamping in these little stamen. And they're just these, pointy things coming out the center of our flowers here. And then they can get a little yellow dot at the top. Like that. It's a really quick, easy way to do little flower stamens. Okay? So I can't see the stamens up here in this flower, but I can see them in my little guy that's hanging out over here. So I'm just gonna stamp on those little skinny parts, technical terms, and use the back end to give them little dots. And that's one way to do some stamen on some flowers. Cool! What do you think, guys? So we did a lot of different things today. We practiced a wash technique, starting with a dry colored background of yellow and adding different washes of green to get our grasses and our stems and things. And then we did some wash in red over our butterfly. We went over the butterfly trick to make those wings look super cool. We did petals with a brush. We did a lot of cool things here. I cannot wait to see photos of your paintings, so please post them in the comments when you're all done here. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I will, once I shut down the video and wrap up, I will post in the comments the link to my YouTube playlist. I've created a YouTube playlist where I'm just uploading all the videos that I've been doing and have done with the Jana Marie Foundation during these weeks of being at home. And also the videos for Jana Marie Foundation that are done on Thursdays are up there, and also my videos that I've been doing on my own Facebook page, Paint with Jackie. They're also up there, so I'll post that when I'm all done here. Again, thanks for any new folks that have joined us for the first time. I hope you enjoyed painting along. I hope you got some color in your day, especially if you're in central Pennsylvania and you got a little snow today. Hopefully this brought a little color and fun to your day today. Please check out the Jana Marie Foundation webpage, janmariefoundation.org, if you want to send them a couple of dollars as a thank you for doing all these awesome videos and wellness breaks. And again, just thank you so much for being here painting with me. I look forward to it every week. It's been crazy these past few weeks. We're in very, very weird times, but I get joy from painting along with you guys and from seeing all of your artwork. So again, thanks for being here. My name is Jackie from Paint with Jackie, and I'll see you next time.